We're here in the Field House at University of West Florida. We got Coach Melissa Wolter, volleyball coach here at UWF with us. And Coach, you guys are going to be out here on this court, blink of an eye. Season's right around the corner.
I know, it's crazy to think about, you know, like each semester flies by and this summer flew by, but obviously we got an earlier start than everybody else. So we feel like we're going to be in position to be more ready than we've been in years past.
Let's talk about the early start you got, because what a fantastic opportunity. You were able to take your team to Europe and travel around Europe, play some volleyball, but really just soak in some culture and have a lot of fun times.
Yeah, it was an incredible trip. I mean, we planned that a long time ago during COVID, and then obviously we couldn't travel, so that was a little bit difficult. But, you know, with this group having 9 seniors, it was really the perfect time to do this. And I loved getting a chance to train for a few days before we left. We played some phenomenal competition over there. But really, I mean, in addition to the competition, it was the team building, just getting time with each other, because that time is so valuable in the confines of the small volleyball court. Chemistry and camaraderie, that's your ticket, and it's your ability to fight for the same common goal with each other. And I think we did a lot of that groundwork over in Europe.
If you haven't had a chance yet, go to their Instagram. Yeah. Kind of just you get a feel for what the trip was like. I mean, you know, the girls were trying gelato and trying different tastes and flavors. They were trying to speak some different languages. It was a fun time, but really, I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It really was, and I think our girls knew that. And every day it was a new adventure, and we spent a little bit of time traveling from city to city, but each city we got to was a totally different cultural experience. And but yeah, we had them go in small groups before we left, and they did presentations on each one of the cities, and nice. We're trying to talk about what kind of food we would be exposed to, you know, and different, you know, cultural changes, and obviously some of the language, which we all hacked up pretty bad, but people understood us, so that was the most important thing.
You mentioned you've got 9 seniors, so you've got some talent coming back, obviously. And you guys, once again, Gulf South Conference regular season tournament champions, you know, advancing on into the postseason with the NCAAs. I wanted to ask you, you know, do you enjoy having that position, that pole position, the bullseye on your back, or is that a burden?
I think, you know, all of those types of things are great because they're promotional materials, but at the end of the day, like, we haven't done anything yet this year. So that's really a testament to what we did last year, and last year. So I feel like our girls are pretty conditioned now to kind of feel that pressure before we ever even get into matches. I mean, it's nice to be honored by the other coaches in the conference, but at the end of the day, we're all starting 0-0.
You guys were having a great season, and obviously you lose Avery to a knee injury, and you know, we're able to rally around and still get a lot of stuff accomplished. Yeah. But what a huge piece to miss. She is back, as are some of the other names that, you know, that we'll talk about here. Where is she in her journey back to the court? Yeah,
she's doing very well. So we're excited about, you know, the progress that she's made, and, you know, really ultimately right now we're just continuing to keep everybody in the mix, and we haven't chosen any lineups yet, which is good and bad, but there's just great healthy competition every day in our gym, and we're seeing different people now that are a little bit more comfortable having been over to Europe and then having a little bit of a break and now training again. It's like you have 2 preseasons, so definitely significant advantages with that, but we're super excited about getting Avery back, and then the multitude of returners that played big roles for us last year as well.
Some of those returners have been honored, you know, preseason accolades. Who are you kind of leaning on outside of Avery?
Yeah, I think obviously Jenna Zidlow has played a really big role for us for multiple years now, and she stepped in as a freshman and picked up a really big role early on in her career, but has continued to make a name for herself in the conference and in the region and nationally. Meg Bracken had a phenomenal year last year, just in terms of anchoring that back line as our libero and just digging crazy balls. You know, I think those 2 for sure, and then obviously Gabby Moulton, and she was a starting setter for us last year, and huge honors, huge accolades as a freshman, but her game is moving into a whole new level. So we're excited about those 3 for sure, but ultimately, like right now, if you walk in this gym, I think it would be really hard for you to choose our starters for all the right reasons. So we're excited about the competition.
Let's talk first kind of, you know, as we prep for the season, kind of where you and the team are with the start of it all just a couple weeks away.
I think that we're ready. That's the best way to describe it. We've been so competitive since we got started, and I mean, that really set the tone early because we knew we were going to Europe. We knew we were going to be playing a lot of hard competition. So we set our expectations really early of what we wanted to be, and I think that really helped us go into the season now because we already know what we want to accomplish and how we're going to do it.
Let's talk about the Europe trip for a second. I mean, what's your best memory? What's the most fun thing you did or experienced?
I mean, I gotta say the volleyball, because I've never left the country, and that was something that was introduced to me by Coach when I was still on my visit, not sure if I was gonna come here yet. She was giving me the option to go play abroad, which just was so cool to me, because I mean, it's a whole different game over there. And so when we were over there playing those teams, they were as young as 14, giving us a hard time. And that was just so eye-opening to me, thinking, wow, they're on a completely different level. I would love to learn more from them.
Bonding wise, I mean, what a great experience for this team. Do you feel like you guys all came back, closer and tighter?
Yeah, and we had to work for it too, because I mean, the way that most of our trip went is that we were sort of released into the city squares, and they gave us all the time in the world to just go sightsee. So we definitely got a lot of bonding in, because most of the day we just spent it roaming the streets being lost.
This team, this program has a bullseye on its back, especially in the conference, and everybody wants to knock off the Argos. How do you and the team deal with that pressure heading into the season?
I think just remembering the people that came before us. We have a lot of coaching staff too who are winners, and we sort of use them as models as to who we want to be. So personally for me, that's Taylor. I look at her and I learn from her, knowing that the way that she was great is the way that I want to be great myself. And I really think that that bleeds into the rest of our teammates as we use them as our role models.
Let me ask you first, kind of where the team is and where you are is in the preseason preparation, with the season about 2 weeks away.
Yeah, our team's looking really good this year. I think we're going to make a super far run into the national tournament. We have a lot of great freshmen that came in, and then we have 10 seniors leading this team, so we have a lot of knowledge to show those younger players, and we're going to be really good this year. Our ability to go to Europe and the time we already spent together playing, team building, I think that's going to really take us far.
That Europe trip, what's your favorite memory? What was the most fun thing you did?
I mean, how could I choose? That's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. Never am I again gonna be in Europe with the same people, the amount of people, that's my whole family basically. My whole family went to Europe, so that's so hard to choose. I mean, playing the games, playing European ball, which is so different than American, was so much fun, but then also being able to experience the different cultures, the architecture, the history. I mean, it's just priceless. All those memories are priceless, so I could never choose.
This team obviously will come into the season with some things that are established strengths, and there'll be things that you're working on. What are the strengths as you come in, you feel this team does well and you're going to lean on early?
Yeah, I think definitely one of our strengths is our depth. We have a lot of depth in every position, and I also think that our belief, our effort, our just ability to play together, I think that's really going to lead us in this season. We always give 100% effort. We're running every ball, running into the stands, just doing anything we can to win. So basically that back alley mentality, our fight, our love for each other, I think for sure we're really strong. There
may be a player or two in the freshman class that, wasn't even born the last time this team didn't win the conference.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. I mean, but there's pressure that comes with that, obviously being the lead dog and the team that everybody wants to knock off. How does this team deal with that pressure?
We welcome that pressure with open arms. I mean, it is a privilege to have that pressure on us. I mean, all the girls, all the teams that came before us, to keep our team at such a high level, we don't care about the pressure. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're fighting for.
Coach, it does start, before you know it, you guys will have a tournament right in here and back-to-back weekends, I think, to start the year. You always start off with some really strong competition. What can we expect from those opening salvos?
Oh gosh, really good volleyball. That's part of why we schedule who we schedule, and we're fortunate where we have this great vacation destination, and so people like coming here, especially for opening and second weekends. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have that same group back opening weekend again and have great challenges across the net, different styles, coming from different regions. And I feel like that time of the year, everyone's still trying to figure themselves out, find your identity. But yeah, I would expect to see great volleyball in this gym for sure.
And I know you don't want to talk about it specifically with teams in the conference, but the level's been rising. I think it's in large part due to your program and the bar you've set.
Well, I think too, now we have a lot more tenured coaches that kind of understand the level that we play at in the conference, but also within the region. And I feel like people are recruiting really well, they're training really well. And there's some coaches out there that I know personally that now are taking on head coaching roles, and it's just really exciting. I think it's a very exciting time in our conference, and yeah, we're excited to see what everybody else presents, but at the end of the day, again, it comes down to what we do on our side of the net.
I like to always ask coaches, kind of what are the goals that you set for the program and the team at the beginning of the season? And is it more, result oriented, or is it more let's just get better and try to maximize what we can do?
It's both. So we actually, with Europe and then coming back and giving them a little bit of a break, and now school starting, we haven't had a chance to sit down and go through, number by number exactly what our ultimate goals are. But I think some of them are obvious. Like we want to keep the standard that we've set in years past. But ultimately, I think what you're going to hear from these seniors is that they want to win the whole thing. They came in this program and the expectation was go win championships. And I think for us trying to go even deeper in postseason, but obviously, for this point of the season, what matters most is what we're doing every day in practice. Can we get 1% better every day in practice? Can we have this cumulative effect that becomes people see us, 1 week and then 3 weeks later and they're seeing a much better volleyball team. So growth, I think, is a big piece of the puzzle when it comes to our goals and being process oriented. But make no mistake, these guys are goal setters, and when we sit down and we put it on paper and they sign it, they're going to relentlessly chase their goals.
You recruit winners, and that pays off in the long run.
It helps, for sure.
It starts September 6th, the first official action right here in the tournament. Coach referenced a couple scrimmages before all that gets going, and then goargos.com is the place to see that whole schedule laid out. You can also check out the roster, new faces, and familiarize yourself with who's coming back, all that kind of good stuff. Argo Armada app as well. And check out, as I mentioned earlier, their social media to see the Europe trip over the summer, but also throughout the season. And what a great way to get to know the student athletes and on the court and off the court as well. Coach, good luck to you this season.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
As always, go Argos.